No, I don't. Really?
Busy with her.
I'm not doing anything.
Whatever.
I'm not.
I really have to talk to your daughter.
About who?
I just have to talk to you.
Okay. Well, what?
Fucking video.
Okay.
Please. Thank you. Have a seat. I want you to look me in the eye. Take your glasses off and look me in the eyes.
Okay.
Becca, when your brother was like 4.5, 5 years old, he wanted a baby brother or a baby sister.
Yeah, that's what they all want.
He wanted a friend.
You told me this a lot of times.
At the time.
Is that a gunshot?
I don't know. And I don't want you to take this as you hate me or
I don't know.
whatever. I know that you're upset about things, but please, please, I'm coming clean with you and honest with you. I had a boyfriend that I was messing around with at that time. We got in a fight, and I told him to leave my apartment. I had an apartment with Josh.
Yeah.
And your dad was my very best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I'm on tape. Thanks. Your dad came over to console me. I woke up the next day and your dad was in bed with me. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, I found I was pregnant with you.
Okay.
And here's the really fucked up part.
What?
Becca, please listen.
What?
When that other guy was over, I thought we had sex, but we got into a fight, so I don't know if we had sex or not. I don't honestly know. All I know is your dad came over to console me, and when I woke up, your dad was in my bed with me, and I was pregnant with you.
Okay.
Are you mad at me?
No.
And the other person I was with couldn't have kids. The dude couldn't have kids. He was sterile. But there was always a rift in whether you were Paul's or the other person. And we took it to court. And the judge said, I don't want to hear this case. Paul Linville has been this baby's daddy since the time she was born. Paul Linville is the baby's daddy. So you know what that means?
Yeah. Okay.
That Paul's your daddy.
Yeah, I know.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. I don't want you to think I was a whore or a
I
hooker.
don't.
And you can get mad at me all you want, but that person could not get somebody pregnant, and it was a big... It caused a lot of problems. And when Paul went after Steve for all that shit, Steve wanted to take that person to court, and that's when the judge said it doesn't do any good. Paul's been her dad since she was born. Paul is her daddy. Psst, period. Bottom line. So I don't want you thinking that I could have another daddy. That dude I was with could not have kids. He was fixed.
Thanks. I mean, you have like a male urethra.
Huh?
Some men have like male urethras and they can have kids because of like lost sperm count or something.
It doesn't matter. That's the dude I was with. We got into a fight, and your dad was my best friend. And your dad came over that night, and me and your dad had sex.
Okay.
And you were conceived. And when I woke up the next day, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here, Paul? He's like, what do you mean, what am I doing here? Because he was always my best friend. He'd be there for anything. And I'm like, did we do anything last night? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, really? Really? And I was pregnant with you. And I know it's going to piss you off. I wanted to have a baby because your brother was like 4 or 5 years old. He wanted a friend. He wanted a friend bad. And I didn't want to have a baby with Steve. Or not Steve. With Lee, because Lee was manic depressive. So I got pregnant by your dad.
Yay.
And the fight was always on because the controversy with the other fucking person. So when I lived with Steve, Steve wanted to take the shit to court. And the judge wouldn't hear it. The judge said Becca Linville is Paul Linville's daughter. Period.
Okay. Ear pop.
Ear pop?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, Becca.
Listen.
I don't know. But all I know is I don't want you to be mad at me.
I'm not.
It was taken to court. He's snoring. And as far as I'm concerned, when the judge marked father, Paul Linville, that is your father. The judge didn't even want to take it to a fucking paternity test. The judge said the father's been the father since she was born. That's the father.
Okay.
The other person cannot have babies.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my God. But I didn't want you getting mad at me with Monique saying your dad's not your dad, blah, 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 blah. She can argue it till the day she dies. The judge said, you are Paul Linville's daughter. You're Paul Linville's daughter. Paul was with me the whole time I was pregnant with you. So whose daughter are you, Becca?
My dad.
Exactly. The other dude couldn't get me pregnant.
Okay.
But I don't want you getting mad at me and thinking
I told you
that
I'm
I did.
not mad.
You're not Lee's daughter.
No, hell no, no.
I didn't want to get pregnant by Lee because Josh is bipolar.
Yeah,
And I didn't want you to be bipolar.
I'm not bipolar.
But thus I'm freak I don't even know what happened. I know Paul was my best friend. He came over to call me. The next day he's in my bed. A week later, 2 weeks, I'm pregnant. So, I got pregnant.
Okay.
Paul is your dad. And if you want to pursue it and have all your blood tests and everything done, you go ahead. But the judge told me
care.
that's Paul's daughter.
I don't think I would care as long as I'm here.
I know, honey, but I didn't want you thinking I was a whore.
Am I saying that you're a whore?
And your dad was there.
That was me who called you a whore.
Your dad wanted to marry me and gave me a big ass ring when I had a blood clot in my leg and I looked like shit. It was all on. He wanted to marry me. I wouldn't marry your dad for those reasons. And if Monique ever said that you are not your dad's child, well, all I can say is, Becca, go to the courthouse and find the records from that judge that said he wasn't going to go any further. In his case, Becca Linville is Paul Linville's daughter since the day we were born. That's the way it was. I don't want you to think I was a whore. But apparently in my drunk status in my 20s, I slept with that person who couldn't get anybody pregnant. I slept with your dad and I ended up pregnant. So you tell me. But I don't want you to think that I'm a whore. And you probably will if you think about it for a minute, but the person could not get people pregnant that I was with. There was something wrong with his shit. It don't matter.
I know.
And then when Paul was like, "It's my baby," I was like, "Are you fucking shitting me? Really? We messed around that night?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Shit, I don't remember." I don't fucking remember. But I wanted to have a baby, and I didn't care. I just wanted to have a child, so your brother had a friend.
We were never really friends anyway.
Me and Josh,
No.
I was always best friend with your dad.
Me and her.
Y'all were friends.
Yeah,
Y'all were
we were
best
like little,
friends.
now we're like not.
Because I think Josh has some resentment because Josh's dad wanted me to have another baby by him, and I didn't want to have another baby thinking that it would have bipolar disorder.
Katie, are you shooting cotton again?
But please, Becca, don't get mad at me. And I know it's a lot. But that other person is not your father.
Okay.
And when the judge determined that, it was basically on paper, pen and paper, and it should never have been brought up again. Your dad's name's been on your birth certificate since you were born. You are your dad's daughter. The other dude couldn't even have kids.
Okay, Mom, you're just repeating yourself.
I know, but I didn't want you to think that Monique fucking
I
knows something out of the blue.
I bet my dad told her, that's why she knew.
You're not Lee's daughter.
I don't care.
Lee threatened to kill you when he was a baby. She's not my daughter. I didn't want to have another baby by Lee because he's manic depressive. But apparently my slut ass messed around with 2 people. I don't think I messed around with 2 people. I ran the other person off. Paul showed up. I woke up the next morning. Paul's in my bed. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing in my bed? He was my best friend. You called me. And that was my skeleton in the closet. I don't want you to hate me for it.
I don't. I'm too naive to hate.
The other dude.
Can't hate anything.
The other dude was fixed. You couldn't have kids.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
And yes, your dad was there.
Yeah, you told me.
Dad was there when I had a blood clot. Your dad was there to wipe my ass when I had a blood clot.
Okay. No.
Your dad was there.
No, okay, I get it.
I think your dad was kind of freaking out because they only have boys in their family, and
Yeah,
there
I'm
they
magical.
got a girl.
So what? I'm magical. And they still haven't had a girl in their family, so fuck them.
But then I was like, oh my god, Becca looks just like Paul, and she kind of looks like my dad. I don't know. She don't look anything like that other person.
I haven't even seen the other person.
You don't need to know that other person.
Oh no, I don't care. I never asked about that, so.
But
I'm not nosy.
I don't want you to grow up and go, well, there was that other person.
I don't care.
Who
I'm not
was
gonna
it?
tell anybody that.
Because it was automatic. Everything went like it was supposed to, and the judge said, no, I'm not even going to test anybody. This child is Paul's child.
Okay.
So, if you ever get the chance to tell that stupid bitch stepmom of yours, it went to court and the judge dismissed it and said, this daughter, this little girl, is Paul's little girl. End of story.
Can I go now? Can I go now?
Go where?
In the living room.
In a room?
In the living room.
Yeah, and now you got me goddamn talking on the goddamn tape now.
Yeah.
What is that for? You gonna sue me in court for being
No.
honest?
No.
You're not Lee's baby.
I know. I don't care about you.
Becca, you're Paul's.
Stop.
You're
I
Paul's
know.
child,
Okay.
and Grandma
Okay.
Joe is your grandma.
Okay, I know.
You don't want to know who the other person was?
I don't know what. Are you gonna tell me?
I can tell you. I don't want you to look him up.
I won't. I mean,
Jerry Biggers. He was from Choctaw. And he's fixed. And when Steve wanted me to contact Jerry Biggers when you were little, and Jerry Biggers was like freaking out. I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, I'm